guys, Tracy here. I'm just showing you some of the things I was intending to scrapbook this day, but I ended up changing my mind about what photos I was going to use. I'm having a look through the Studio Calico Elmwood Park collection kit, and I have the Monkey Bars add-on as well. So first I'm just looking through the paper, and I wanted to use that off-centered striped paper, but I ended up using that for another layout. And I also end up deciding to change the pictures eventually as well that I'm using for this layout. I'm narrating this a couple of weeks afterwards after doing it, so I hope I remember everything here. But my main plan for this picture here with the bumper cars is to use the Everyday Eclectic collection, which I had just received from Echo Park. And I was just showing there I had to print up that photo again to make it a bit brighter because it printed a little bit too dark. And so my main objective here is I wanted to include a bunch of different patterns from the collection. And so I went with the white Swiss dot paper that came in the Studio Calico kit instead of going with the striped paper, because the striped paper just didn't match this collection. And once I switched pictures, I really wanted to use this collection. So I just picked a couple of my favorite patterns from the collection, and I just cut them into strips and I'm gonna put them behind the photo. And now I'm looking for some thickers that are gonna pick up on those colors. So I have those fellow thickers that are exactly the same reddish pinkish color that is in that paper that's over on the left right now. And then I also picked out some other letter stickers there that I thought might work. So having another look through the papers just to see if there's anything else I want to use, and I'm going to outline those, I'm sure. And I'm not sure what I'm doing right now, but I left the screen for some reason. There we go. I went to get some cardstock in my scraps or in my collection, but I ended up not using the cardstock. I'm not sure what I was thinking there, but I think I might have been thinking that I would cut some die cuts with my Cameo with the solids. And so here I'm just using the broad end of my Zig Writer to put a very bold outline around these papers. And I really wanted the lines to be bold on this layout, as opposed to normally I use the thinner end of my Zig pen, or I'll use my .03 American Crafts Precision pen for outlining. But I really like the bold look with those patterns in particular. So now I'm thinking about doing some splatter, and those are the colors that I have. I just spray them on a little sampler, and I decided against the splatter just because I wanted it to be clean. I just wanted it to really, the boldness of those outlines and the boldness of those patterns to really stand out, and I didn't want some splatter to be competing with that. And I love this hexagon paper, but I didn't want anything that was going to compete too much with the three single color papers that I had already picked. This paper does a really nice job of bringing together the three single color papers that I had already chosen, because all those colors are in there. It also does a good job of bringing together the other elements that I knew I was going to put on this layout, or I suspected I was going to put on this layout. So I'm just using the same bold end of my Zig pen to outline the hexagons, just to really emphasize the hexagon shapes, even though there are no full hexagons on there, which I really like that look. I like that you know that it's a hexagon without seeing the whole thing. Your brain will kind of fill it in for you. And so I just put those at the top and bottom, and now I'm going to experiment with where I want those three cabochons. I knew I wanted them on the layout, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. And at first I was thinking about having I was kind of experimenting with the idea of having a bunch of elements at the top and a bunch of elements at the bottom, and then maybe not doing so much around the picture. But I didn't do that this time, but I might do that someday. It's like I never think ahead of time about what it is I'm going to be doing. I just break out the supplies and start working. And so sometimes my ideas evolve quite a bit from what I first had in mind until the end of the layout. And this is one of those times. So at this point, I am feeling like that evil grin should be closer to the photos. So that's going to put a wrench in my plan of having those cabochons up there, because the cabochons are going to be way off balance. So I'm committing to the positioning of the papers, and just making sure it looked wildly off center to me, but it's not. So I just measured it to make sure. I'm not really great at centering things, and it doesn't need to be centered, but I didn't want it to be wildly off centered either. So I'm just going to outline. That's another item from the kit. I don't know if that's, let me see, who makes that? Photo tab. I didn't write down who makes it. That's very helpful, isn't it? It's from the Studio Calico kit anyways. And so what I'm doing now is I'm taking some stickers from the Everyday Eclectic collection, and I'm just picking out ones that I think are going to work well together and work with what I already have. I'm having a look through my Project Life stuff there, and I have some chipboard that I really wanted to use that Michelle sent me, but it just wasn't the right scale. It was a little bit too big. The colors were right, but I couldn't make it work. So I'll hang on to that for another time. Those are some neon butterflies that I have in pink that I love, but they're too neon for the other colors on this layout. And now I'm probably just searching around in my stash right now. I just let the video go this time. I didn't bother editing it. Yes, I went to get my stickers. So yeah, I'm just looking for some stickers that I can layer around those other stickers, just because I didn't want everything to be either up and down, either vertical or horizontal. I needed something to kind of soften up all of those angles. So I was looking for something roundish or top note-ish, or yeah, something like that. Just to soften up that edge. And so that's what I ended up doing. And I just layered it in behind the photo, and I put down that photo tab and added a couple of other shapes that would just add a little bit of interest besides just having a bunch of right angles there. I'm outlining that sticker just to bring it all together with the other elements that are all outlined with a fairly heavy outline, and so I'm going to do that to all of them just so they stand out. And I'm even going to outline that doily, and I never like outlining doilies because I never know which parts do you outline and which parts do you leave, and then once you start it's hard to go back, but I did want it to kind of pop out a little bit more than it was. So, and yes, so now I'm thinking about putting those cabochons right there, and I like that idea, so that's what I'm going to go with. And gonna put those on with, I think I used glossy accents. They took forever to dry. I wasn't sure that it was even going to work. I knew in my mind that it should work, but I was instantly regretting it and wishing I had used glue dots because they took forever to dry, and I was worried, but they did dry and they're on there really, really good. So I've pulled at it since then just to make sure it would stand up. So now I'm putting Evil Grin in there. That was going to be my title, was just Evil Grin. And then that space above the E was just begging for something to go there. So I went with the word big, which perfectly fit, which was random because I didn't plan it that way. But the word really does fit there quite nicely. And then I thought about layering a whole bunch of speech bubbles above her head because I love that look of a whole bunch of layered ovals and speech bubbles. When you layer them, they don't have to all be speech bubbles because you tuck them in behind, and sometimes you don't see the little arrowy part of the speech bubble. But I didn't go with a layered speech bubble because I couldn't find the right ones and the right shapes, and then it was going to start to look too busy. So now I experiment with the idea of doing a subtitle there in Dymo Label Maker tape. because I have the clear tape and I really wanted to be able to see that striped pattern, but you couldn't see the label at all when I did it that way. So I abandoned that idea and decided to use these gray letter stickers. They're from a previous Studio Calico kit. I'm pretty sure they're pink paisley. That's what I've been calling them anyways. And I love those. They're just so tiny. They're perfect for places where other letter stickers just wouldn't fit. And so again, I'm thinking about adding some more speech bubbles, but I decide not to. And yeah. So now at this point, I wanted to put some lined paper in the middle of that frame sticker just to turn it into a journaling spot. And so I used my punch there to punch out a piece of, that's another piece of crepe paper from a long time ago. And it was just in my scraps. And now I'm just outlining it. And what I have, because I punched the circle to be smaller than the frame, it's still sticky around the edges. And that way I get to do some journaling kind of around that speech bubble. And just looking for some last minute touches. I really wanted to use that camera, which I love, from the sticker elements. I love everything on that entire sticker sheet. Love, love, love everything. And that arrow border is one of my very favorite things in the whole collection, so I really wanted to use that. Used it in 2 places. I just outlined it to make it fit with everything else that's on the layout. And I'm just kind of feeling like it's a little plain at this point. It needs a few other things. So I took the word determined because Olivia has a really determined look on her face there. And then there was this other paper from this other letter stick or word sticker, I guess, from another set of crepe paper stickers that said girl. And so I decided to put the 2 of them together and say determined girl. And sorry, I forgot to zoom out here. That's one of the things about zooming in. I always forget to zoom out. So sorry about that. I wanted to put washi tape on this layout, but I couldn't figure out a place to put it, so I stopped trying. And those green Bo Bunny stickers are awesome. I love those Bo Bunny stickers. And so I just decided to put the date up in the top with those, just to, because the bottom line had something, I wanted something to be on the top too. And you know, you get a little tired of using those date roller stamps over and over again. So I'm just putting some staples along those stickers. And then I just added those hearts so that they look like they're floating up. And I actually wrecked one of them in my outlining. I didn't do a good job of outlining it, and I had to tear it off and start with another one. Yeah, so I tried to fix it and then it ended up looking yucky, so I replaced it with another one. There we go. And now I'm just showing you the close-ups, and you'll get to see it up close in the photos, I think. Just adding one more heart, and I did add some wood veneers too. So thanks for watching, guys. I will be posting a bunch of videos this weekend, so see you later.